Affirmations daily, you should join in. Love is the vibe and we own it. The universe been talking to the chosen. The universe been talking to the chosen. God energy, God energy. Everything inside of me, you feel the frequency. God energy, God energy. Everything inside of me, you feel the frequency.
You amazing, you should say it, you so powerful.
Affirmations daily, you should join in. Love is the vibe and we own it. The universe been talking to the chosen. The universe been talking to the chosen. God energy, God energy. Everything inside of me, you feel the frequency. God energy, God energy. Everything inside of me, you feel the frequency.
You amazing, you should say it, you so powerful.
Affirmations daily, you should join in. Love is the vibe and we own it. The universe been talking to the chosen. The universe been talking to the chosen. God energy, God energy. Everything inside of me, you feel the frequency. God energy, God energy. Everything inside of me, you feel the frequency.
You amazing, you should say it, you so powerful.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace, family.
Shadowwork Sundays, Big Energy, Season 3, Episode 1. Much gratitude. Definitely super lit. Happy to be here with the Soul Tribe once again.
It's a fact.
After 7 days, a great 7 days of shadow work. We're gonna stop using the word week. It wasn't a week.
Nothing weak about it.
Exactly. But yeah, we here again. So much gratitude to you. Today we're actually going to speak about toxic masculinity versus the divine feminine. This is a very much so as all our episodes, but this was more targeted towards the heart space. This is about exposing the heart space, connecting with the heart space, going through the obstacles and seeing where the heart space actually was violated and tampered with, and so let's start off with playing the heart chakra singing bowl.
Let's get it.
Open up our heart space. It was beautiful to get grounded with y'all as well.
Yeah.
Rising. I say. Once again, much gratitude, family. Grateful to be here with y'all again, with the tribe. Peace, family. We have an elder. She's one of our elders. Much love and gratitude to her. Just everybody. I'm not going to just speak on her situation, but everybody's sending big healing energy to Tanya. To the goddess. We are family, and so we understand the power of energy.
It's a fact.
I say.
The goddess.
Peace, 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 family. Big energy, soul tribe energy. I say.
Family in the building tapping in. Peace logical.
I say peace, peace, peace. Yeah, showing love to the tribe. And so I actually do have a quick announcement. We actually will be starting a Patreon starting next week. And so we'll keep you guys posted on that. But, YouTube is getting real different when it comes to giving information and shutting people pages down and blocking certain episodes. So we're gonna make sure that we can still do what we want to do. Because we're actually still kind of holding back, should I say, certain information due to the guidelines of YouTube. So that is definitely coming real soon. So much gratitude to that. Um, but let's get right to it.
Speaking on the divine feminine and toxic masculinity.
And actually, first, let's today is actually the full moon in Aries, and we are in Libra season. So very much so, a lot of balance going on in this time. Weighing for far as the scales, which really comes from Ma'at, which is why we have Ma'at behind us today, representing the divine feminine
Yep,
energy.
that balance.
I say. And so the Aries moon provides an energy right now of drive, of courage, and actually a moment for you to speak your truth. Deep revelation about our life. This is a time of deep reflection. This is a great time to bring intention into your relationships. So really connecting with the manifestation aspect. But when it comes to relationships, that can be a relationship with your business, relationship with others, relationship with family, relationship with self. And we're actually going to speak on relationships next episode. So that's
Mm-hmm.
actually powerful. That's the energy that we're actually having to
Leading
be
up to.
aligned with. I
Yep.
say, I say. All right, so let's go ahead and start it off right. Let it be known, because the last time we did this episode, this is a part two. Last time we did this episode, I had a few guys. We had a few guys that kind of felt some type of way about the message, but the message is what it is, and it's the raw truth. When it comes to the goddess and when it comes to the divine feminine energy. So, toxic masculinity is not something that is just based off of a male, and the divine feminine energy is not something that is just based off of female. Um, these are energies that we actually can operate out of, either one of us. There are very masculine women, just like there are very feminine men. But we're talking about the balance, and we're talking about the attack on our people,
Yep.
and what really made us stop loving from a genuine place. What made us start to get so analytical and start to overthink everything
Mm-hmm.
versus just feeling and being comfortable to feel. You know what I'm saying? These places made us feel like we couldn't be vulnerable anymore. Why? Why was our heart space, robbed from us? And that's kind of what we're going to talk about.
I'm sure.
I say. And we're also going to talk about that basically the divine feminine energy is love and chaos energy, which is also about balance.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, that divine feminine is really that heart space center, and that frequency of compassion, of nurturing, of healing. Like you said,
Yeah,
also that chaos energy. Um,
I say.
I felt like we would have a lot more meaningful interactions between, let's say men and women, if we truly understood the purpose and the roles of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, you know.
Yeah.
And like you said, those are energies, not just genders or sexes. So, it's possible that we can be out of balance, like us as guys, we can be out of balance with our divine masculine, or vice versa.
Right.
But as you said, it's really important to find that balance. You know, because in my opinion, the union of the divine feminine and the divine masculine is one of the highest interactions and unions that we can engage in, while we're here. So I feel like it's of utmost importance to be able to resonate, with one another, and yeah, and really embody those different principles.
It's because when it's balanced, they both have purpose. The masculine energy
Sure.
has a purpose, just like the feminine energy has a purpose. So
Yeah.
when they are playing their roles, that is when we are operating from our heart space and our crown.
Yep.
But when there's a toxic masculinity situation going on, when there's this aggressive, this approval point, this bully, arrogant, very egotistical aspect, this is coming from the root chakra,
Yep.
you know. And so What I'm saying is that whenever we are moving in our root chakra, we are moving from a masculine energy. You see what I'm saying? And this is where, like I said, I had certain guys kind of want to kind of feel some type of way, and I was like, there is no such thing as toxic femininity, because that love at its purest form, I don't care. We could talk about a goddess, like I said, that's low vibrational. She ain't doing nothing, and she can know, like I talked about a few episodes, she can know when her man is cheating. Period. She gonna have the intuition. She's connected. She's some you know what I'm saying? She's connected. She may not know how powerful she is, but she's very powerful. You know what I'm saying? She is directly connected. You know what I'm
It's
saying? Women
fact.
are naturally more spiritual than us. You know what I'm saying? Our goddess, whenever my goddess meditate, I had been meditating way before her, being kind of tapped in. She closed her eyes and tapped in and started seeing stuff. I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't even, you know what I mean? Because there's a connection that the divine feminine has to source, to God, to love. That because actually, at the end of the day, this is about connecting to Christ. Christ is the divine feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? And so we are the second coming of Christ. How do we rise? We only rise through love. We only rise through our heart space. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
I say.
This is beautiful. I feel like the spirit is really setting the tone right now. And so let's actually go over what is toxic.
Cool. Let's get the definition for that.
Um, and actually, I got it right here. My fault. It's poisonous.
Okay.
The definition and the etymology is poisonous.
Just straight one word, poisonous.
Exactly.
Enough said.
You know, and like we talked about the last episode about this, is that poisonous is just something that gets into your bloodstream. You know, this is not something that is this is it's not like a virus. And to an extent it is, because it has run its course, but it's in your bloodstream. This is not something that's easy to detox. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, some poison kill people immediately. You know, they don't
But
even survive, you know, the process that happens, you know what I'm saying, as that's going through their bloodstream, you know what I'm saying?
mhm.
And so poison is very dangerous. And so we're talking about poisonous masculinity, you know. And I can speak from my own point of view, you know what I'm saying? You know, maybe somebody's gonna be high and mighty today and say that's not, I ain't like that. Well, guess what? I was. You know what I'm saying? I was very toxic. You know, I was stuck in my root chakra. I was in anxiety. I was in fear. I was in rage. I was in anger. I was in neglect. I was in pain. I was in, you know, feeling like I was misunderstood. I was in all these different places. Therefore, I was confused. I was lost.
Mm,
I was every part of myself, and then I didn't know nothing about myself at the same time. You see what I'm saying? So in that moment, I was projected on everybody that I knew, because all I did know was to be a tough guy. All I did know was that crying ain't for men. All I did know is that, you know what I'm saying, like, technically I'm not supposed to have emotions.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? And the emotions that I do have, I'm supposed to feel them, process them, and move on. But I wasn't never good at processing emotions. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously somewhere in there, my heart space was being there and kind of giving me the opportunity to feel. But I wasn't in the space to express it. So what I did was I expressed it in rage.
mm.
You see what I'm saying? I call it my inner child throwing temper tantrums. You see what I'm saying? So I went into that place as a grown man. There's no reason why, as grown men or grown women, God taught us that we should be around here yelling and acting ignorant, and we should be actually be able to communicate a certain way.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Correct.
saying? No matter what's being thrown at us.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And when we do that, that's only because of the divine feminine was robbed from us, and we don't know how to connect with true compassion, with true love, with true balanced communication. You see what I'm saying? And divine feminine really changed my life. You know, that's why we have the heart chakra singing bowl. Me and my guys play that every day. You know, because it brings balance into the home.
Hmm.
You know, that's that 432 hertz. You know,
And I feel like that's deep because, like you said, I can say the same. I've been in a place where I've been on the toxic side of masculinity. And as you said, it was only because, I was coming from a place of trauma and a place of woundedness, either from other relationships or, as we know, things that you don't necessarily receive in your childhood. So, like you said, that causes you to be the opposite of what you're supposed to be. And it's my opinion that being the divine masculine, that we're supposed to be protectors, we're supposed to be providers, we're supposed to be leaders. We're supposed to be teachers as well. When I think of toxic masculinity, you kind of see where things are at with the state of relationships. Because of social media, it's like you're always seeing a meme or a Twitter post about somebody expressing how they feel about, like, oh, men should be doing this or women should be doing that, and this, that, and the third. And I feel like as a people, if we had a better understanding of, what it truly means to be like masculine, for example, like you'll hear a lot of times dudes saying, like, oh, okay, like what's she bringing to the table? Like, I need a woman who makes her own money and this, that, and the third, and it's like, because the divine masculine, in my opinion, is supposed to be the protector, well, the provider, should I say, you're going to get into a lot of misunderstandings and debacles with the divine feminine if you're not presenting yourself as a provider, right? So automatically, if you're saying things like, oh, like, what are you bringing to the table, like making your own money, you this, you that, it's like I like to look at nature for some of these examples of like the divine masculine and feminine principle. So even the sun, for example, is technically a masculine force, right? It provides the earth with heat, light, and warmth in exchange for nothing. The sun never looks at the earth and says, yo, hey, throw some clouds up here, or, throw a little rainbow my way, so I know that you loving the sunlight. It gives it, just endlessly and eternally, and it never burns out, and then, and what I feel like what certain guys don't realize at the moment is, in the same token, just like a planet, the sun provides that heat, light, and warmth, and the earth is able to produce life. And I'm sure we've all heard the adage, a woman is good at multiplying. You give her a house and she turns it into a home. You give her, love making, she turns it into like a child, a new life. So I feel like you really have to have an understanding of these principles of masculine and feminine to know how to truly interact, with the goddesses, or vice versa. Because
so look, I want to say this, bro. So because you really sparked this thought.
Okay.
So basically, I had a situation, where I'm kind of putting y'all in all of my business. You know what I'm saying? I had a little situation where, so basically, me and my goddess have been working from home. The whole pandemic. We never, what I mean? We ain't rocking with it. You know what I mean? We at the crib. You know what I'm saying? That's how we love it. We together. We do everything together. And even when we wasn't working, from home, when we got off, we together. Like, we do everything. You know what I'm saying? So the point is they tried to like switch something up, and we had to go. Basically, she had to go back to the office. And I was sitting there, and I was feeling this in my own way. Obviously, she got her feelings, but I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I remember saying this. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, I can't think when you're not hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just she can be doing nothing. She can be just in there doing nothing. And I can be in here doing the most. Whatever I'm doing, whatever I got focused on, whatever I am. But just her presence, just her being, you know what I'm saying? Just me knowing that she's in the back room just
means something. Yeah.
Hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? And so the point is that, that love is not about, like we talked about last episode, about being cool. You see what I'm saying? Love is about being pure. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
Love is the purest energy. You know what I mean? Peace, 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 mama. Shadow Work Sundays, mama is in the building. Official. So we are talking about toxic masculinity versus the divine feminine. So let's keep digging. So from a toxic masculine aspect, that is taking everything logical with no emotions. So that's kind of like when you saying this type of statements that you were saying, these emotionalist statements, which is what is really being promoted in the music. The music is music with no emotion. It's really all about, what I'm saying, whatever toxic agenda that they want to push in that record and really put in your subconscious.
Right.
And then subconsciously, now, what I'm saying, when you loving somebody and you meet somebody that you love, you got your favorite song in your head that's really telling you that niggas ain't nothing or that females ain't loyal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so subconsciously, the music is programming us. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
I actually got somewhere in here. I don't know. We're not there yet, but I remember the notes and what I was kind of researching at the time. But technology has been one of the robbers in this time of the divine feminine.
No, for sure.
And it's kind of when you was talking about the memes, and we think about movies, we think about TV shows, think about podcasts, and we think about what these babies are watching. The type of shows that what I'm saying, all the young star seeds are tapping into. It's a lot of toxic media. I wouldn't even say technology, I'll say media. Media is really robbing us of our heart space. You know what I'm saying? It's numbing us. You know what I'm saying? The we talked about this a few episodes ago on Instagram, how they'll do a song purely about pain, about struggle, about all the trauma, and they won't give not one solution in the record.
At all.
I'm saying this is a frequency of depression. This is a frequency of being numb. This is a frequency of they promote this tough image as if being tough, like these guys don't kill people and go to the pen and cry in these cells. That heart space, you can't. If you have a heart, that compassion gonna come somewhere, and that's a bonus space. It's about that compassion. You know what I'm saying? So
I sure.
The toxic masculinity is not in the crown chakra; it's in the root chakra. As I spoke about a while ago. But I want to make that clear. The crown is the masculine energy, the true masculine energy, the divine masculine energy. Is that the crown? But toxic masculinity is in the root. The crown is guidance. Like when we spoke about the leadership, the crown is the awareness. You can, you're actually able to. It's the logical aspect. You know what I'm saying? You can see. And for us to ascend, we have to open our heart chakra, our first eye, and our crown. You know what I'm saying? You need the crown. The crown is actually very, very important. But if somebody is looking at themselves like they're in the crown aspect, like they really got it, they're ready to guide and lead, but leading from the toxic masculinity, from the root chakra, and that's what we talk about a few episodes as well, is becoming a nigga in a guy situation. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why it's important to know the difference.
Yeah, and I would say, speaking on that, again on the toxic masculinity, and like you said, not to get on the guy's case, but for us guys, you got to know why you're coming. We talk about this table a lot, like what are we bringing to the table? You have to know, what's expected of you even coming to the table. So in my opinion, if you're not, for one, you got to do the shadow work so that you can, like you're saying, not operate from a place of trauma, which is to say, operating from the root chakra. That place of fear, survival mode. If you have done, your shadow work, ideally, you should be coming to the table to meet with a goddess ready to protect, ready to provide, ready to lead, and ready to teach. In my opinion, if you're not willing to do that as a god, you really have no business, wasting a goddess's time, because if we're not willing to fulfill our role as the divine masculine, it's like, what are we really there for? You know, 'cause that's when you get into those toxic situations where, I've seen a lot of couples that are in like secret competition with each other. It's like, okay, I'm doing this, but you're not doing that, and you could do more of this, but nobody's really just doing their part, as to balance the whole. So I feel like if we really know, how to be divinely masculine, how to be divinely feminine, it would allow us to really find some divine connections and not, you know, like I said, shadow work is kind of the prerequisite, but past the shadow work, that really allows us to grow with somebody. So I feel like it's really important that people in our community, we have these talks about what it is to when we talk about like being a god or a man, and things that you should be doing. It's my opinion that obviously, like in certain situations, the divine masculine can be the foundation, right? We kind of lay a foundation for the divine feminine, kind of like a platform for them to be in their true essence without having to worry. From finances to shelter to safety. We have to provide a certain environment for them to really be comfortable. And come out of their element. But not only that, I feel like you have to really be willing as a man and as a god to lead, your lady. And I heard something recently when I went to the barbershop, actually, right on time. Like the shadow work weeks, are crazy and always in alignment. But a barber, he asked me, he was just like, I got two I could play. He's like, one is how a man should be, and one is how a woman should be. He's like, which one you want to hear? I'm like, oh man. So I'm like, you know what? Play how a man should be. So, my barber probably takes about 30, 40 minutes to cut my hair. So we have to just listen to this speech. And the gentleman was saying that, as a man, it's our responsibility to constantly chase knowledge so that we can always bring knowledge back to our household and to our goddess so that we can teach them. And I feel like something that hit home for me in the speech was he said, you're never gonna find the perfect woman, or you're never gonna find your perfect woman. He's like, get it out your head, she only exists in your head. He said, your wife is always going to be a project, so to speak, meaning you are going to help mold her and guide her. And in a sense, when you think about it, right, when we say Big Mama or the Divine Mother, we say the divine, the Heavenly Father, right? You have these principles of fatherhood and motherhood. So the dude took it a level deeper, and he said, we actually father our wives a little bit, and we kind of become a second father, so to speak. And that on wedding day, she's really just changing fathers, because you have to have the patience with your wife that a father has with his daughter. You have to be able to, provide. You have to be willing to put the petty paws down, and like you said, not just want to make a point, but really connect with your goddess and understand where she's coming from. So
Say,
it
look,
was really deep to me.
I'm gonna say like this. He didn't say nothing wrong.
Yeah,
Number 8 is on the screen right now.
Yeah.
And I've been married for 8 years, and the fact of what you said is the project part. Because I disagree with the you won't never find the perfect woman, because the project is the perfect woman. It's the perfect project.
Correction, not perfect, but you'll never find her just all the way there, all the way done. There's gonna be y'all are gonna grow together.
I would look at that as vice versa. You know what I'm saying? I honestly, because man, bro, the power of everything, like I said, that you said, and the power of the divine feminine, and the power of, like you said, the father aspect, it's actually funny, and I agree, but I also look at it's the same way on the flip side. You know what I'm saying? Far as whenever a goddess, whatever she brings that big mama, that mama, that auntie, that whatever, that feminine energy, that nurturing energy, to the situation. You know what I'm saying? That's why I honestly, to me, this is all about balance. You see what I'm saying? We have been guided through our divine masculine, but we haven't been taught to know when, be aware of the divine feminine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we do things through the divine feminine all the time throughout our whole life. We have done things through our heart space, but we wasn't aware that that's what that was,
Right.
or somebody rejected it and shut it down. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, you know what I'm saying? So, but when it comes to relation, like far as marriage, like I'm just saying, I definitely agree. It building the foundation, bringing knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That is all that is all important because I ain't gonna lie to you. With me and my goddess, it didn't. Bringing knowledge wasn't always a easy thing.
Mm.
It got to a point where she was like, "I'm not listening to you at all ever again." You know what I'm saying? Because it was like you're doing too much. It's just too much, and I didn't really know how to give knowledge and balance. See
I'm
now,
about to say that just makes us
you
better.
know,
That just makes it promotes you to be a better teacher. You figure out how to deliver the information better in a way that's not so.
she actually helped me to be a teacher. I became a healer by healing myself, but she actually, yes, for me to be a teacher. You know what I'm saying? The
That's it.
patience, because I wanted her to get it.
Yeah.
I really did, you know what I'm saying? And me showing her self love. Whenever I connected with the divine feminine, let's talk about this for a second. When you
Okay.
connect with when you connect with the divine feminine, it will shift your whole household. So if you're in the house with other people, it'll get real different. And me and my goddess, we got into a real different type of place because I was in a self love place and our marriage hasn't been based off like that. We have them parts, like I said, you tap into it here and there, but we
Mm-hmm.
wasn't aware and it wasn't intentional. So so then I started to connect with with self love, connect with my heart space. Not saying that she did not want to do that, but she had to go. She had to go connect with her root first, and so that root it looked different than the heart space. You see what I'm saying? So we're in two different situations. And my situation is looking all like blissful, and she's like, "Yo, this is like deep shadow work over here, like that I'm dealing with, And so, but what that love does is it radiates awareness all throughout the whole home. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like it's a movie that we watched. I don't know what it was. It's not C, but it's a movie basically where this meteor came from another, came from out the ethers and landed on the planet. But it was a being, but it basically shook their awareness. It's a show called The
Mm.
Messengers
Oh, okay.
on Netflix. And they angels, seven angels, but it shook the awareness of these
Mm.
angels. They was living normal, regular life, and then when this certain
That's heavy.
frequency hit the planet, it shook their awareness. It was like, yo, it's time. Like they didn't know what they was going to be doing, but they knew it was time. They started getting powers.
Oh, that's
Kind,
crazy.
kind of like our situation on this planet. Things
Hmm.
that depending on what you believe and what you believe is going to be the future. Should I say? Um, but point is that is what happens whenever we connect with our divine feminine. When we connect with that heart space, living in the home with other people, it radiates. It shakes the whole home.
Hmm.
You know.
So that,
So
that that love will do that.
yeah.
That love will do
So
that.
so I think we talked about this. I'm not sure. But who made you toxic? You know, and the same question is with who made you toxic is the same question of who robs you of the divine feminine. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That was my mother, of course. Like I spoke about before, that's my first love, my mother. My mother robbed me. You know what I'm saying? And whenever you ask this question, make it personal, analyze it. You see what I'm saying? Sit with it. Make it real personal. This is how we heal. Feel that emotion. There's two aspects of the heart chakra. There's the green aspect. There's the pink aspect. The green aspect, in we can use crystals as an example. Malachite is a deep healing crystal. And then you have rose quartz, which is a very high vibrational, and they both high vibrational, but a very pure love crystal. You see what I'm saying? And so one of those are for healing, one of those are for love, and so they're both connected with the heart chakra. And so whenever we're dealing with our heart space, we have to feel. You know, you might feel a little rage. You might feel a little. That is that chaos energy that we're gonna speak on. You know, they tend to want to shut down our emotions. You know, when you get into this intuitive place and you start calling your truth, calling out things for what they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's that my energy. You know what I'm saying? That's that truth, justice, harmony, balance, and order. You know what I'm saying? That's that big mind energy, which is divine, which is a divine feminine energy.
That's that your heart got to be lighter than a feather energy.
Come on now,
You know.
you know. And I don't know if people know what Julio is talking about, but it's the scales. You know, the scales of my eye, and one has a feather and one has your heart. You know, and it's about your heart being light as that feather. You see what I'm saying? And the beautiful part about healing is that, and connecting with the heart space, is that you become light. It makes us light. You know, meditation makes you feel. Whenever you're done with meditation, how do you feel? You feel light. You know, when you get done crying, how do you feel? You feel light. You
Mm-hmm.
know, So
I
yeah,
say.
this is very beautiful.
I say.
I think since I just talked about the crystals, let's go ahead and get into the Shadow Work Sunday crystal of the day really quick,
Let's get it.
um, which is rose quartz. The Shadow Work crystal of the day is rose quartz, family. Actually, I'll show you. This
First
is
crystal.
the rose quartz that I have right here. This is actually my goddess crystal. This light is beaming, so I don't know if y'all can really see it. Um, and like I said before, this is a beautiful, example of it. You know what I'm saying? Rose quartz in its purest form. This is what we want. Love in its purest form. Um, but this is a very powerful crystal to actually enhance the self love, and good crystal to meditate with. With the intention of love and self love, opening your heart chakra. With that intention as well. Very 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 powerful crystal. I actually We actually meditate with this crystal with green lights because green is a heart chakra color. So we have green lights in the room meditating with the rose quartz. So that's very powerful to do as well, family. Peace, bro. I'm in a place where I feel like I need to cry, but I don't know how to cry. That makes sense?
Peace, bro. Nah, I feel you on that. You should definitely grab you some rose quartz. That's really gonna help you connect with that heart space and let that energy flow. You know?
Much gratitude, bro. Definitely appreciate it. So where can I cop me a rose quartz?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. GodEnergyLLC.com. Go shop.
Order now, family, at www.godenergyllc.com.
I say.
I'll show you much gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I got you, mom. We gotta make it happen.
She said, "Let me get one of them."
Yep, we gotta make it happen. Um, we actually have some crystals that we just never sent out that we need to send out for a few people. We probably need to add to that list at this point, but for
Mm-hmm.
sure, authentic, on point, um, Rod. We had a few people at the time, so we got some crystals for a few of y'all, and then like I said, we just I get some more that we just giving, just sending just as love. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And Mama, we got you on the list. You know,
Signed up for rose quartz.
exclusively. All right. And also just keep this in mind, family. If you want to join this episode, this is definitely one of those episodes we want to connect with the family. Kind of speak about your process with connecting with the heart space. You have questions about connecting with the heart space. We're going to actually speak about the blockages. Different things that can actually cause blockages. So we're going to go in, but put it in the chat if you actually want to join, or email contactgodenergy at gmail.com. Sorry, I was thinking about the website. Um, but yeah. All right, so
Say.
let's get back to it. So essentially we learned how not to love ourselves by the people that were around us. You know what I'm saying? Like as a child, we trusted everything that was given to us. Everything starts with our inner child. So us connecting with the divine feminine, and when the divine feminine energy being robbed from us, It started with our inner child. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, it gets way deeper as we grow and we become adults because we get into relationships based off of love. You know, based off of the lack of understanding of the divine feminine and the lack of the that heart space, that self love, that void that we needed to feel. We would connect with certain relationships and connect, and not just monogamous relationships, but as certain friends and hang around certain family members all the time and deal with certain situations that we
Mhm.
knew that that really weren't beneficial for us, but we were just looking to fill that void. You know, some of us did drugs. You know, I did a lot of drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was growing up, and yeah, I did a lot of things. You know what I'm saying to numb my pain. You know, my story probably wouldn't even yeah, you wouldn't even believe it. You know, looking at me right now, but did a lot of things to numb the pain. You know,
Shit.
so point is that we have to assess. We have to assess. We have to go back, and that way that we can heal ourselves. And you can maybe, create some little rituals, create some things that you do, create some affirmations that
Mhm.
actually that put juice. I just fill up all this void that you have. You can fill that up with nothing but you, and replace it, because that void was you originally. The only reason why it's a void because someone put a scar there. You know what I'm saying? Someone broke you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Someone bruised, a very vulnerable part of you, and now you got to put it back together. You know what I'm saying? And this is how we do that. With connecting and going in the heart space. And when you say, going in the heart space sounds cliche, maybe to some people, um, but it's not. It's about feeling. We all got feelings, especially us as melanated people. Man, look, we very expressive. You know what I'm saying? So we have feelings. Connect with your feelings.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? If you get angry,
Follow the heart.
yeah, exactly. If you need to punch something, maybe you need to go and roll in the gym. Maybe you don't want to cry. Maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you need to punch some stuff. You got some rage, you got some anger. Somebody hurt you.
Mhm.
They somebody was abusive to you in a physical way. Maybe you need to fight this person with this punching bag. You know, that is all that is
Stealing.
all connecting with the heart space because it's about your intention.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You are forgiven. You only can forgive in the place of love. The divine feminine is the energy of forgiveness.
And giving compassion to every situation.
I say,
Mhm.
I say,
Yeah, because life look, like when you connected with the divine feminine, it looks a little bit different. Your responses to things, the way you go about doing things. It's more, like you said, it's more focused on, how you're making others feel and how you're connecting with others versus just trying to prove a point. Like we said, operating from a place of, fear most of the time, but really I look at it, you can even bring the golden rule into it, do unto others as you would want to be done unto you. It's like when you're in the
exactly.
heart space, you have an awareness of, how you would want to be treated and knowing that others are just reflections of us. Being in the heart space allows you to deal with everybody like they're yourself, treating others truly as you would want to be treated. But, you have to be in that, you have to be in the heart space to be able to do that. You can't be, like you said, operating that root chakra, which is to say that fear, that fight for survival, that if I don't down you, I won't get up myself. And really come to a place of understanding and non-judgment and compassion. These are all things that are categorized by being in the heart space. Really, like King said, feeling our way through certain situations and not just um, you know logically trying to work it out. So I really feel like that's important, to find that place in your heart space to open your heart chakra. I think they say, um, your heart chakra, most of your chakras should be open about to the size of like a CD. But if it's closed, it can be like the size of a golf ball, or if it's overly open or too open, it can be like the size of a pizza, like a large pizza. But in my opinion, the heart chakra can't be too open, because as long as you have discernment and as long as you're functioning from a high awareness, there's no, in my opinion, others might feel different. There's no downside to just how much that heart chakra can I get open.
No, that's
'Cause a
facts.
lot of and a lot of our heart chakras, are closed due to, like you said, that aspect being robbed from us and us feeling like, a lot of people feel like they can't be in the heart space because it makes them vulnerable. It's like we've heard that a lot of times, specifically in our culture, in our communities. It's that like, oh, love will get you killed, or love this, that, and the third. So a lot of people see love and being in the heart space as a liability, which
Right, right, right.
um but knowing that you're always divinely protected through that use of the heart space, it makes it a different story. But I feel like there's a wide misconception about, being in the heart space makes you weak, or you're more susceptible to be led astray or finessed. But I really feel like regardless of if any of that stuff happens, you're still where you need to be, because karma is a thing. Decisions are a thing, and there's certain things that's respected, I feel like, by the Most High and Big Mama, so to speak. So as long as you operate in your heart space, in my opinion, there's nothing for you to fear. Somebody, a lot of the times the joke is on other people because those reactions that they're looking to get from you just don't come because of how centered you are, and your love for them. It's like that, like that, and we know that there's balance to what I'm about to say, but that's that turn the other cheek energy where, that Christ consciousness, somebody might come back at you with a like, oh, you weak, like you saying like love will get me killed. And you have an understanding that they're not able to see it that way, but they don't stop you from, keeping the heart open and existing in that place. So
It's deep. It is about balance. You know what I'm saying? Whether we talking God or goddess, you know what I'm saying, male or female. Um, Whenever we balance both the crown and the heart chakra, that is
mhm,
when you are the most powerful.
yeah.
Because maybe you do get into a confrontational situation like
Hmm.
what you're speaking on. You may have to use your logical part of you to tap into you know how to finesse the situation, how to move. You know what I'm saying? How to really yeah, how to move in the situation, how to finesse your way through the situation. But
Hmm.
your heart space is really your guide and your intuition on what the threat is. Is this really a threat? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? How serious do I need to take this? The heart chakra is the awareness.
It's
You
like
know
a
what I'm saying?
discernment.
And then you got the guide. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes we I just want to make sure that we know that there is a balance to that as well. Logic is very important as well.
Yeah.
I used to think that logic was like a scam, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? I, as a husband, I move through my heart space, of course, but I can't be walking outside being a protector all day, just moving in my heart space. I can't. How do
Right.
I look at every corner in the room when we outside? We at a park. I'm looking at this more like it's a room with four corners. That is the logical aspect of me. That is I'm watching the people. I'm listening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm mapping out how we gonna move. Okay, let's go this way. Let's go this way.
Hmm.
I'm already knowing how I want to turn, how I want to move before we even get there. You see what I'm saying? That is a logical aspect. So both of these parts of us are about being aware.
Correct.
You have awareness on both sides. They just provide two different type of awareness.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Like you said, it's that balance that allows you to operate, successfully between the two. Because it's like when we talk about with ego, it's like you can't completely get rid of ego because ego is even there to protect you. You know, so it's like we have to have the balance between these things, and not just be so one sided with it. Because like you said, if you just out, picking daisies, and somebody runs up to you and you like, oh, let me just give you a hug. That's not gonna work too many times. In the 3D. So I feel like that's heavy.
Well, we're gonna talk about that chaos energy of the divine feminine, and
Hmm.
definitely wouldn't react like that. Um, so let's talk about the love of Big Mama. Like I'm talking about like Big Mama and the families. Big Mama's always legendary. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Maybe not appreciated enough. But definitely legendary. This is that place. You know what I'm saying? Right now, my Big Mama's. She transcended, but her home is still like
Sacred.
yeah, for the family. Like the family still litter. Her children, people. Like probably the only phone number that I know. Like in my head, like in that way for my whole life. So Big Mama is a very powerful. And what I wanted to say about Big Mama is that this is a love with no judgment.
Hmm.
Remember how we talked about Big Mama let everybody come over. Big Mama making a plate for everybody. A very loving, a very caring, a very open, free place. You know what I'm saying? You know why Big Mama's so free? Why we use terms like Medea, which I learned are very sacred goddess
Hmm.
names as well, a name per se, that name as well. But because on the flip side, she will whoop somebody ass. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
I just don't. She's not nothing to play with. She's
Nope.
real. She's raw. She ain't
Yep.
really like. She not really for the. You start talking a certain way, she gonna peep it. She like,
She'll dig in you now.
yeah, she's not. But and then she'll give you a plate after again. She'll still
Hmm.
feed you. So that is a very powerful energy, and that is divine feminine energy. That is when we
Hmm.
talking about not saying that we don't have a lot of our grandmothers don't have a lot of trauma and things of that sort. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying just the capability that they actually had to be able to show that level of love and that level of compassion and that level
Correct.
of not judgment. That is a part of actually what it looks like whenever we're moving in our heart space.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They tricked us into thinking that the divine feminine was weak. You
Oh
know,
no. On the
the
side,
divine
quite the
feminine,
opposite.
is actually the strongest. Me as a guy, me as a male, I really became strong when I connected with the divine feminine. I've always been a protector. I always been, the rah tough guy, and that's what everybody on. If you look at it right now, everybody's a tough guy. You know what I'm saying? That ain't really gonna get you nowhere but killed. You know what I'm saying? I used to I used to be in traffic, and I'll be snapping off on people or at the grocery store or wherever I'm at. If I feel some type of way, I'm finna speak on it. I always felt like I had to be real. We have to really speak on what is real. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
What they sold us as real is really like the fakest ever. You know what I'm saying? So I was so focused on being real, that I would constantly project. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I actually I was very ignorant. You see what I'm saying?
Interesting.
And
Hmm.
why? Because it was another part of me where I wanted to be nice, I wanted to be loving, but I felt like I couldn't do that. Even when I went in public, I would mug. I would mug people. I always have a certain type of face, have be on a certain type of energy because I felt like, I'm already letting you know, bro, like what it is before you even come over here. And I still do that if I feel like it's a threat because I'm still
Hmm.
letting them know, but I don't live like that.
Right.
I walk around happy. I be lit. I'll be scoping the room. I know everything's going. Me and my wife having a good conversation. She don't even know that I done seen this and this happen, and we lit. We having a good. I'm not in that place. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
and truthfully, we have to get to the origin and realize where some of these things are happening. That was really I had been through so much trauma and seen so much at a young age that really it was fear based. You
Hmm.
know, let's talk about it, bro. I don't know why I'm so in my heart. I'm super in my heart space tonight. Remember I talked to you this week on the phone, bro. Not
Hmm.
this week, but this last 7 days about a situation with my mother
Yeah.
and me being protective. I'm very protective, um,
Hmm.
and so this is to the masculine energy that it's actually that doing what they're supposed to do, protecting and really being leaders and guides and just every work being in every aspect, far as the crown chakra is concerned,
Yeah.
tap into that energy with the balance of love. We have to make sure that we know what is leading that, to make sure that we are doing that in the purest form as well, as far as
Mhm.
our protection, and whenever we're speaking up for them, we're doing, because we could be doing that in a toxic way, which not being connected, that's toxic masculinity, not us doing it through our divine feminine, through our heart space. And so I was talking to Julio, and I didn't really connect this till a few days ago. My mother actually, she was dating a guy. I'm young. I'm like 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? Years young, and she dating a guy. You know what I'm saying? Very abusive. You know, and I'm seeing her get abused. You know what I'm saying? By this guy. You know what I'm saying? Over and over. But this day he actually put a gun to her head. Um, and the gun jammed, and I'm watching this happen. So I'm watching this person actually, um, finna kill my mother. Right in front of me, basically. And so,
Jeez.
yeah, the gun jammed. So I'm um
Mm.
I'm grateful, obviously. But point is that I didn't that's I always had a problem with him. I always had I had dreams. I had, like, even as an adult, I had like that. That's always been something that was traumatizing. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hell
a
yeah.
PTSD
Yeah.
type of situation.
That'll do it.
Yeah. So point
Mm.
is that I'm a big protector. And so me and Julio was talking. It's like, dang, I think that is the root, that traumatic situation is the root that actually caused me. And not saying that that's a bad thing, but now I know that I have to make sure that I'm balanced, because it actually, this great thing was birthed through trauma
Mhm.
in the worst way. And so, you know what I mean?
Sheesh.
And so that's where balance come in. And really, my whole life was like that. I had this side that was very dramatic, and then now I had to kind of bring this balance that was kind of like a balance that you probably thought was impossible to bring to a situation. But that's what divine feminine, the heart space, really saved my life. These man, bro, I could go down a list of traumatic situations that we actually go through, as children, or as neuromelanated people,
Mhm.
coming up and being in the households that we have, and then our parents coming up, as far as in the crack era, and in that time, or our parents and their parents, technically,
Mhm.
coming up in the crack era, and all that, and just the things that kind of the trauma that they all had to go through, that they
Yeah.
were raising us with. you know but yeah, the divine feminine is the key, and I say all that to say, even the Bible says this, they were saved by the testimonies. And so I'm
Deep.
speaking my testimony, a little bit, tonight, far as, that's just a traumatic situation right there, that just me connecting with my heart space, me going within, me actually analyzing this guy's life,
Mm.
which I never thought I would do. I wanted to kill him, and that's just real. And I'll leave that there. Not that I feel that way today, but I felt like that for a long time. Um, you know, and me connecting with my heart space and assessing the situation, and, but like I said, not really having compassion, for that, but really having understanding of the life that he actually was presented, and the traumatic process of his parents, and looking at our ancestors and saying, man, that man wasn't dealt a good, you know what I mean? That was an agenda against him that actually worked,
He was dealing with trauma.
of course.
Yeah.
And so that's what the heart space do. And even with my mother, I look at her and I'm grateful for her, and she don't even know why I'm actually able to have conversations with her and love her, even though I feel like things are weird, and I don't really know where the relationship stands. I can do that because I remember. I remember she could have not been here. That's the heart space. Because at one point I was like, I ain't talked to my mom. I ain't talked to my mama for a year, 6 months, but I got into my heart space. Now I'm like, I'm just grateful for that
Hmm.
conversation.
To be able to have it.
So that's a part of the heart space. It really changed our life. It made life easier.
Oh yeah.
I was angry and I was full of rage, and I was stuck in depression and aggravated and want to beef with her. I want to
There's a lot more
get it.
peace that comes with it.
Yep,
A lot
exactly.
more peace. I share. I share that. Okay, so we got a comment. So it took a while to accept that it's because how my parents were raised and through their trauma I was raised the way I was raised. I share you, that's a fact. And that's where that compassion of the heart space comes down, and giving your parent a judgment free awareness, that like us, they're people too, deal with traumatic experiences and they got to transmute it. A lot of the times, our parents didn't have access to some of this information. We have access to a lot of information, and that gives us the ability to change our trajectory. But unfortunately, the older generations, they didn't have the same access to that. And when you talk about indigo children and star seeds, you have to be knowing that a lot of us came as elders to some of these quote unquote parents, so that requires you to have a certain patience with them and a certain level of understanding that, they might be physically your elder, but in mind and in spirit, it's actually reversed, so you gotta keep that in mind.
I'm gonna confirm this. I'm trying to see, am I gonna say the names or not? I'm not gonna say the names, but I will say this: two of my close family members, I would say two of my close people to me, have babies. One of them know a little bit. I feel like he knows. I don't know how much he knows, but he knows he's intentionally had his baby named um, because of this. And then my other brother, that I don't think he knows at all, but
Mm,
I'm gonna let him know. Both of these babies are ancient queens
mm,
from ancient times. One of them is a queen from ancient Kush,
I sure.
but they are named the exact name of these. So they coming back as themselves. You see what
That's
I'm saying? The
wild.
ancestors are coming back right now as themselves. These people are getting these names. They don't know where they're getting these names from. Some of them. These
Hmm.
names are really their original name. You know what I'm saying? Back in
That's
ancient
heavy.
times, they coming back. Oh man, so powerful. And guess what? Both of these are goddess, divine feminine energy coming back. Ancestors are coming back. You know what I'm saying? There's a shift in the energy. I wasn't gonna. Well, I ain't gonna say I wasn't gonna speak on this. I was just really gonna be focused on being led by the Spirit. Actually, remind me, Julio, to speak about Christ. We're gonna talk about that, but I want to talk about this comment first. Some of us don't even know that we're traumatized.
Man, what? Speak on it.
I think we find out every day, family.
A lot of us are used to trauma and call it something else. A lot of us don't even know what, that trauma is trauma.
No, you just said it right here, bro. We make excuses. We made excuses for our trauma for a long time.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because when we talked about on Instagram, there's an obligation to the trauma, an obligation to the pain. You know what I'm saying? I gotta feel like this. Man, you know what they did to me, but you don't have to feel like that.
Right,
You don't have to, and then you don't have to go around and project what that person did to you on everybody else.
right. Because
Well, man, I don't know what else to do because man, people be tripping, bro. People ain't real. How you know they not real? You're prejudging the situation. If
yeah,
I was you, I would connect with your first thought. I would connect
yeah,
with my heart space, and I would actually use my intuition to actually guide me. Use my discernment to guide me in these relationships and these places that I go. Connect with my power instead of moving in fear. You see what I'm saying?
hmm, I say.
I say, I say, yeah. This is very powerful. So let's talk about Christ. Some say Jesus, some say Yahshua. It's many names. Yahushua is many names. But we're gonna say Christ. And I'm gonna speak from a place of who I have been, the process that I have been through. I went from a process of loving Jesus, knowing Jesus my whole life, raised in church, all that, to not believing in Jesus, at all, to thinking that, Jesus was fake, a fluke, just given by the white man, um, to getting back to, spirituality and getting back to myself and going within and taking away the trauma of the church and all that and really figuring out and going back to this and really connecting with the spirit and seeing what is this? Is Jesus really not? And we don't got to accept the name doesn't matter. We're gonna talk about Christ because it's not about the name at all. That name and all that is just that is whatever that is. Christ is a feminine energy, and so whenever Christ came down here in that aspect, whenever they speak about Christ in the Bible, what they didn't talk about is the metaphysical aspect of that, of what's really happening. Um, and so with the metaphysical aspect of that, Christ was in a male avatar, but was actually the divine feminine energy. So that energy wasn't a masculine energy. I want to make that clear first. That was not a masculine energy. It's actually a divine feminine energy that they're actually speaking on. The world was actually in such ego because that's what we were actually ruling out of at a certain point. Ego. Actually, the world is back in that type of time at this point right now. Now that's why we're here to become Christ again at the second coming of Christ, because ego has got out of hand, been out of hand for a long time. So Christ came down to actually give this certain type of love, bring this frequency to the planet, and it wasn't even about. It was about bringing that frequency of love to the planet, but it really was about opening the doorway of ascension.
Mhm.
And so right now we talk about us ascending, and we talk about us going to 5D and 6D and 7, us ascending to these higher realms. How the reason why Christ actually died was to open the doorway of ascension. It had nothing to do with sin.
Conquer death.
It had exactly. It was a death and a rebirth. The rebirth. So whenever they gave this example of saying that you don't have to go to the temple anymore to pray, you don't have to. It knocked down. It rose to, and Jesus rose, and Christ rose 3 days later. What they really were talking about is that you were now directly connected to Source. You see what I'm saying? At that moment, we became God. We became Christ. You know what I'm saying? What they don't talk about is that during that time in the Bible where it doesn't speak about Christ from, a little bitty, child on up to 30, maybe 30, 31. During that time, Christ was going through shadow work. Christ was going through revelations. So
Hmm.
when they show these different things in the Bible, they give you little bitty things, little examples. And whenever he was out there talking to God, confused, frustrated, you know what I'm saying? And you got the burning bush, you got the elements, you got these metaphysical things going on, turning water into wine, and all this is all metaphysical. You see what I'm saying? These things were happening though as Christ was discovering who Christ was, which is us as the collective. We are discovering, we are remembering who we are again. You see what I'm saying? And so during that process of elevation, like I said, that death and that rebirth had to happen. And so right now we are going through a death and a rebirth as a collective. And in this death and rebirth, we actually are connecting with the divine feminine energy, connecting with Christ. We become Christ. We become the second coming of Christ. We are the second coming of Christ. You are Christ. I am Christ. You see what I'm saying? And I just want y'all to understand it. Like I said, when everybody talks about divine feminine energy rising, it's the Christ energy. That's what it is. I say. Um,
I say, yeah. And there's like you said, there's a lot of metaphysical aspects to that story of the Christ. And in my opinion, like that's one of the first guides for ascension and how to ascend. If you're in the right place, the heart space to be specific, you can really take a lot from the story of the Christ and what it means to really activate the heart and sustain a direct connection with God. um and like we talk about a lot on the show is that we're in the age of spirituality where it's all kind of information based and about what and you know how many bombs you can drop or what have you, but it's really about how much are you vibrating at that frequency of love, how much are you activating your heart space and really living as though you are God incarnate, and what would that look like? So I feel like, even I surely don't consider myself a Christian, but, I grew up in the Christian church and I do feel like, there's something there, with that story that you could really, not only learn a lot from, but use to functionally activate, your heart space with some of these parables and some of these stories. And like King said, I had a similar journey where, like I said, I grew up in the church my whole life. When I came out of the church and thought it was all hogwash, and got back into it a little bit and got back out, until I was able to kind of overstand it, in a way that made sense to me. Once you get past all the historical changing and, like you said, the names and things of that nature, and you really see, what they're trying to explain. And like we talk about a lot, the story, there's a lot to be gleaned from like the story of the actual person that was Christ. But with our culture, a lot of the times what happens is, we'll have these stories or these systems of spirituality that are just allegories for a much higher process and a much more complex process. So I actually feel like it was a ploy of the enemy to make the story of Christ into just a historical thing where it's like, yeah, this is just about this guy named Jesus who did this at a third, and they take away the mystical and metaphysical importance of it because
and take away your power, because when they gave it in a way where you are nothing, you are sinful, and this Christ died for you because you are nothing, and the only way that you could actually get to God is through Christ. When that was not necessarily true. Christ actually is the ascended master. Christ set the tone for where we can directly be connected with source just in the blink of an eye. Right now, we can go into a meditation right now, and we could all connect to source right now.
Yep. And like you
You see
said,
what I'm saying?
Christ is really just an analogy and an example of a process that you're going through. It's meant for you to put yourself in those shoes. And not only that, but like I said, a lot of those stories and parables have, like we know, the people of Kemet, they had these representations and these stories for actual processes that went on in the body as far as awakening goes. So, there's a lot encoded in that story of Christ that tells the story about you, about how your spirit is set up. I've even done a little bit of digging about Christ representing crystallized imagination, and even with the word, right? Christ or Christ, comes from Christos, which comes from crystal, which relates to clear, meaning you're clear in your consciousness and you're clear in your operation from the heart space, and even as crystallized imagination, that aspect of the Christ, in my opinion, is like a couple levels deeper, because you can really see Christ as, aside from the heart space, a key for manifestation, in some of the parables about, becoming like a child into the kingdom of heaven. Christ can be seen as your imagination crystallized, meaning you take, as Christ said, you make the unseen things as though they were seen. So you use your heart space and your imagination to create from the mind, and whatever you see can be crystallized, aka made physical, and thereby made seen. So there's a lot of power to that story of Christ in a lot of different dimensions. So I feel like it's important that we understand and understand what's really going on there, past the, this was a guy named Jesus. So
And it's deep that you say dimensions. So whenever we do get on Telegram, we're actually going to speak about the 12 disciples and 144,000.
Let's get it.
I'm gonna leave that there. But
Like a time verse to look at gnosis, experimental knowledge. That, man, if you really want to, in my opinion, if you really want to tap in on the purest forms of Christ's teachings, look at Gnosticism and look at agnostic texts. Gnosticism or Gnostic Christianity is very close to mysticism. It's a little bit different than what you would hear in your church or under like things like Baptist or Catholic. They the Gnostics believe in archons, or these beings that control physical reality from outside to keep you trapped. That's not something you're just hearing about in the churches. I'm talking about interdimensional archons that are here to keep you out of your heart space. Things in the Gnostic text, Christ was quoted as saying that we had to return to the pleroma, which is our true spiritual home, and that where we are now in this realm isn't isn't where we come from, you know, and it isn't our true home. And that, long story short, I'm glad Tiny said that, because, you know, Gnosticism and Gnostic Christianity is very interesting, because it aligns a little more closer with, you know, the mysticism that we like. So very, 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 very good point on that one.
For sure, for sure. So, so let's talk about this. So, divine feminine flows like water, right? Which is, like I talked about before, feminine water is a feminine energy, but
Hmm.
divine feminine flows like water, provides peace, as well as water being a feminine energy. It is very powerful healing energy.
Yes.
Now, when we start talking about the chaos energy, we're gonna use water as another example. Um, and so, as a child, we was basically a lot I heard in my household, and around the people that I was around, was stop crying, be a man.
A
Um,
lot of that.
and so I want to speak on just far as the and actually, God is, if somebody want to comment, what is something that that y'all heard, that kind of aligns with this type of message, shutting down your heart space. Um, I'm not sure, you know what I'm saying. So I would love to know. Um, but us as men, as guys, we was told stop crying, be a man. Um, and so from my perspective, and that's my disclosure. She only said that. My mother. She only said that because she didn't have a real man. Um, Mama was trying to turn me into the man that she never found.
Mm.
She was trying to
It's deep.
make me be the man that she desired. And we talked about this before. What if the man that she desired is toxic, and she don't know that he's toxic?
Right.
Now she's teaching me a toxic way of love.
Yeah.
And this is a relationship as well. My first relationship with my mother. Where you learn how to communicate. How to love, how to be compassionate.
Hmm.
How to give. Or how not to give and how not to love. Um, and so yeah, I was robbed. You know what I'm saying, at that time. But I feel like a lot of us are robbed by these statements of our family that shut us down emotionally. That shut us down and try to stop us from feeling. And so I guess I want to speak on that. For the gods. So let's keep going. For as media, you might not remember this, Julio, but the episode that we had about the divine feminine, which was season 2, episode 1. You actually was talking about um, what is her name, Megan Thee Stallion, and you were talking about the like they had like a that she had some in her nose, but she
Yeah,
looked like
I
cattle,
remember.
had her looking like cattle.
Hmm.
And can you kind of elaborate on that and kind of let them know? But it was basically about how they're portraying the divine feminine, the neuromelanated, goddess, and the agenda that they're pushing.
Yeah. I think I said they were making. I think the picture, like you said, it was like that's like a cattle ringing her nose, and like I think her tongue was out. But they're trying to, you know, over sexualize obviously the divine feminine, but also, make them seem like they're less than human. Or like they're like cattle. Something that you have as an asset, or even something that you, I guess, feed off of technically, but quite the opposite of what the divine feminine actually is, which is, they're trying to portray Megan Thee Stallion in that instance as being in her animal nature, and uh, and it's kind of a lower aspect of self when it comes to being depicted as an animal. So that to me is just an example of this subconscious programming that's being done, like you said, through the music, but also through media and social media, to give us this warped perception about, because Megan Thee Stallion obviously is deep, because Megan Thee Stallion is looked up to by a lot of women, and there are certain elements about people like Megan Thee Stallion that are empowering, and um, like good examples of different things, but just to think that this is a woman that a lot of other women look up to, and that she's kind of like a status symbol of society when it comes to music, and even she is being portrayed as this animal. So it's just like it says a lot to the subconscious of like, okay, like this is somebody we look up to, that we hold with high regard, that is now being shown to us as this lowly creature. So I feel like that does a lot to the subconscious, and seeing the divine feminine painted that way. And on another note, only highlighting certain aspects of femininity. So like obviously in our culture, you're really only going to see Megan Thee Stallions. You're not really going to see, because in my opinion, the divine, like a mature divine feminine, comes with a lot of wisdom. It's like that Sophia element, and unfortunately, they say most women get into the Sophia or the wisdom element around like 30 going into 40, and I feel like that awareness or that actualization of that is circumvented by, you don't really have any examples of that, at least not now. We kind of did in the 90s, but now of like a woman who's poised, who's intelligent, who is a little bit slower to speak because she's so in her confidence, that she doesn't have to speak on everything, and that like a pharaohess, that you would see from Kemet, that very poised, confident, and strong energy. We don't have too many examples of that, at least not nowadays in our culture. Like I said, it's all geared towards a certain aspect.
First, I'm gonna say with the Megan Thee Stallion thing, to the goddess that do look up to her and things of these agendas, they're showing, like Professor Griff said on Brother Rich page, they're showing you how they feel about you.
Yeah.
Just think about that, for a second. And to move on to what you was talking about, these amazing goddess in their balanced place of love and intelligence, and just being them to the full capacity, that superconductor. I am grateful to be married to one. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said I'm not gassing her.
Sure.
But it is something beautiful to experience and to see. And me as a God, we don't come from places that we're actually able to connect with the divine feminine. So it is very imperative or very important to have that platform, to actually have a goddess that is really connected in balance and all the things that you said, because then you actually feel comfortable being able to connect with your divine feminine and go through that process and not feel like you are less than the man or less of or whatever. My goddess is and this is something to speak on, because a lot of this music, the Megan Thee Stallions, a lot of this music that they promote, it's an energy of ignorance and a very reactive energy. And so we my goddess don't want me to react. She already know what she knows. She know what she needs to know now. She's not pushing me to react. Only way that I react is if it's life or death. And it's a threat. I got to. It's what it is. Other than that, we moving around. And even then she doesn't want me. She and so nowadays there is a toxic aspect, and that's the goddess being in the masculine. There's a toxic aspect of get them. You know what I'm saying? Dogs versus dogs, like a pit bull fight. And men are doing this, for women, and women are doing this for men. It's not. It's actually both sides. This toxic masculinity is taking over. And we are here to bring the balance. You know what I'm saying? We don't. That's the reason, like I talk about, reason why I do music that I do. And it's because there is an agenda against the goddess, where obviously the men are killing each other. So that's what's going on with the men, and then the women are just becoming more of a low commodity, or have lower and lower value is what they're pushing. You know what I'm saying? And what's sad is that our community is accepting it. You see what I'm saying? Our community is accepting them actually degrading us right in front of our face. Degrading our mothers, the children. There's a major influence.
Yeah.
Whenever I deal with, like, I'm in a place in my life where I don't even deal with. I try to stay away from people's children, in the sense of, like, if I see a child, I'll wave, but I don't want to, like. And I love children. I'm not gonna say too much, because the world is so different now that
Man,
it's like, I don't even want to.
you can't look at somebody's kid too long nowadays.
No,
You
because
know,
but also how they're programming the kids' mind. These kids want to have girlfriends and boyfriends and husband and wives at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're thinking about, like, their minds is on stuff that's not even for children.
hmm
You see what I'm saying? And that's based off, like I said, this music, these Megan Thee Stallions, these certain agendas that are actually being pushed. You know what I'm saying? Too, they're making it seem like it's cool.
yeah,
Because they flashing some money and some cars and some jewelry, and most of our people are broke.
hmm
But you have to know that when you connect with your heart chakra, with your heart, when you live in your heart space, you are richer than ever.
rich forever.
There are people that are actually got a lot of money and their heart space is closed. They broken. They sad. They in there drinking their life away.
Some people are so poor, all they have is money.
That's cold. That's cold.
That's a different type of poor, though. Different type of poor, because true wealth, like you said, is within, especially within the heart.
They say stop it. Enough of the celebrity worship. That's a distraction as well as hurting the future of the young girls. They need to be shown the starlight of the inside of themselves and how to nurture that. I say.
I just broke that down on my Instagram story the other day. The word celebrity actually means inherently sacrifice, or it means a
That's deep.
rite or a ceremony. And you gotta think about it, right? These celebrities, they sacrifice their peace and their sanity to to be whatever these corporations and whatever these people want them to be, to
Right.
engineer your mind. So it's like you really got to know, what the nature of being a celebrity is. And that a lot of these people that are celebrities, they're not whole. They're not whole people that you would, even want to look up to, or want to, emulate or aspire to be like. Because they've sacrificed their peace and their sanity so they could be right where they are. And I shade at Tanya because I feel like a lot of people don't consider. A lot of people that engage in celebrity worship don't even think it's celebrity worship. A lot of us think that, like, worship doesn't mean that we have a statue in the corner and we're, like, praising the statue.
Right.
Celebrity worship can mean that, the phrase paying attention. Your attention is the highest kind of thing that you have because it's your awareness. So when you pay that attention, you give that attention, you're giving, energy goes where attention flows. So, even us giving our attention to celebrities, and, I could give people the benefit of the doubt back in, maybe like 90s or 2000s, but now we kind of know what the nature of, like, the music industry is, of what
Right.
Hollywood is. We kind of know where these things stand on the spiritual spectrum of if they're good for us and if they're not. And even more so, everybody's pretty aware that there's an agenda now where all of these industries are compromised. You're not, and we talked about it the other day on Mean King's Call. Music, for example, they make the music in the same frequency, in a specific frequency. So, like, 4-bar songs compared to 6 to 8 bar songs. A 4 represents a square or a box. So using these songs with these cadences with just 4 bars, it's boxy and it's loopy. There's no newness to it. And even that, sampling became a very popular thing in our community with music. And, I've heard from a good source that's because they don't want us creating new music with new frequencies. We're still operating off all these sounds and these songs that come from generations ago. Nobody's going into the studio and making some new Earth, Wind, and Fire sounding music, or some Prince or some Jimi Hendrix, where you're elevating frequency with sound and with lyrics. It's all just loops that keep you on a loop, so to speak. And like I said, you got the benefit of the doubt as late as the 2000s, but with artists like you, for example, King, it's like that you're not turning. Everyone knows this. You're not going to turn the radio on ever and hear somebody talking about the third eye or liberating your people. You're just not going to hear it. You're not going to turn on the news and hear them talking about, opening your heart chakra and releasing fear. They don't want the elevation. So it's like, in my opinion, we have no business looking up to a lot of these people that are in these positions, because it's kind of like they're more so court jesters than somebody for you to want to emulate or follow in their footsteps. Because it's intended to keep you in a loop, in a lower vibrational loop at that. It's not these celebrities. They're not there because they want to impact the community or help you heal. Like we got an artist in front of us, King, who he tells you all the time. He wants you to heal with him through his music. Some of these artists not even want you to heal. They don't care if you go kill two people after you hear that song.
I'm gonna just say this, and then we can shift. You know what I'm saying? Back to the Divine Feminine. Most of these artists are not these artists, and then we can just leave it at that. I'm not gonna go too deep on that 'cause we on YouTube. But most of these artists, they're not who you think they are.
No.
So
No.
So detach.
Got to, man.
So this is something else that you actually had spoke on, but this is per Dr. B. Tears are an extension of your nervous system, and when you cry, you're releasing pieces of tissue that have basically where the trauma has been stored all over your body. And so I want to counter that with healing your body is the key to healing. Healing your trauma is the key to healing your physical body.
Literally. Because as above, so below, and as within, so without.
I say. So all the diseases and things that are in our culture and in our we have to heal within, and those things are actually heal without.
People don't know every disease. I'm sorry to cut you off, but not a lot of people know every disease has a mental and a spiritual origin. What you experience in the body with any disease is simply as above, so below, as within, so without. It's just a reflection of something that you're dealing with inwardly. And like King said, when you and that's a trick to the medical industry, because they give you these pills and these things that make you think that it's helping you overcome this disease or this sickness, but you have to attack the root in the mind and in the spirit, and that allows you to heal the body, because your body is just a reflection of the mind and the spirit. So these things take root in the mind before they take root in the body. And in my opinion, they only show up in the body so that they can give you an indicator or a warning that says, hey, we got a problem somewhere deep down in the recesses of your mind that now is coming out in your body. So that's deep. That's a really deep point there. Yeah, you got to start the healing from the inside out, not the outside in. That's the only way it can take place.
So here's a question, that I know that people want to know, which is how to open your heart space. And so I would say first and foremost, journaling, writing, because there's a when it comes to connecting with your heart space, there has to be an intentional flow. This is definitely is the heart space is very much so a water energy that you're dealing with, especially when you're trying to tap into it. You know what I'm saying? So you want to think about how water moves. And so when you're writing, just think, feel, you want to feel. So feel and write, and just write. And as you write, it will be revealed to you. Many things will be revealed as you write. You may think that even if you think what you're writing means nothing, just keep writing. If you write one page, write a paragraph. Write till you feel like you're done at that moment. And then also for me, I feel like, and this is my opinion, if you have someone that you can be vulnerable with, that you know that you can trust, actually set up a vulnerable place. You know what I'm saying? It may not be their house or your house. It may be out of the park. It may be set up a vulnerable place and vent. Just talk. Just let them know that you're not really there for any advice. You're not there for a response. I just need to vent. And it could turn to a nice response. It could turn to, but let them know I just need to vent. And really open up because that is going to be a big revelation. The big part of get opening your heart space is about these revelations, giving yourself the opportunity to actually reveal and reflect back on yourself, your heart.
Not sure.
And then show yourself love. You know,
Mhm.
like we talked about a few episodes ago. If you are looking or want a certain God or a God that you're looking for a certain type of relationship, well, do the things that you actually desire them to do to you and for you. Do them for yourself.
Yep.
Whatever when you deal with your inner child, what mama and daddy didn't do, what you things you want to do them for yourself. Go skating, go get your favorite ice cream, go get you
Mhm.
whatever these things are. You know, like I said before, go inside your heart space and feel. Um, and then go into the memories of the heart space, which we talk about a lot, and we will continue to talk about because memories of the heart space is the key to healing. We have to go
Sure.
in, we have to relive those memories, we have to connect, we have to see. So go in and connect with some memories, whatever these memories are. Let them flow however they flow. Don't try to force anything. Don't be in your mind overthinking. Go through your heart space and feel. Let it flow, and as it flows, feel. And guess what? As you feel, guess what's going to happen again? Another revelation, which is another reflection of your heart back on you. And as your heart continues to be reflected back on you, you will in return end up projecting,
Hmm.
this back out, but after from a healed place or from a more balanced place, because now you're assessing, now you're doing shadow work, you know. And when you
Sure.
journal, burn it, especially tonight with it being the Aries full moon, write down some intentional things about certain relationships that you want to get rid of. Burn it, set it on fire, go in right in front of your tub, have a little water, and watch it burn. I watch every letter burn. Me and Julio talk about this all the time. You know, so those are a few ways, for my opinion, to open the heart space.
And I give one too that I actually utilize kind of through meditation is I'll imagine seeing, a lot of things in existence, but I'll start with my immediate environment. So I'll start with the trees and, the animals and things of that nature. And I'll think how thankful I am for that. And I'll actually see colors and visuals can be very useful when working with some of these chakras. So, I'll imagine, this green energy kind of gradually expanded from me to include more of my environment. So first it includes the ground and the earth, so I give thanks and I send love to Mother Earth. Then I see it, reaching out to squirrels and rabbits and smaller animals. And I, see myself giving love to those things. And I work my way out to my family members, my friends, things I'm thankful for. So really using gratitude um, as a way to kind of like feel like you're in love with these things that are surrounding you. Because when we're talking about it, love is the resonating frequency, right? So love is what bridges the gap energetically between you and all other things. When you realize there's no separation between anything really, that as we say, we're only reflections of each other, and nature and creation is a reflection of us and vice versa. When you're aware of that inherent connection, you can really love all of creation and other beings as though it's a part of your body. In the same way that you can show yourself love, you can show love to all of these things.
Oh, sure.
No, you didn't. So Tiny says, "Did I hear car shuffling?" No, I no cars at all. That's I don't know what that noise could have been, to be honest. Nah, but I'm not. I don't. I dabble a little with different kinds of cars, but I've never done tarot or anything like that. So
And truthfully, we the goal is for us to be able to read ourselves, man. And read our families and do these. So we're gonna get there. We got a few things lined up, a few people that's gonna come on here and give us some good information on that type of stuff.
yes, sir.
Coming soon. So let's talk about the chaos energy of the divine feminine. Um, Chaos definition is complete disorder or confusion. Now, what's deep about that is that I was talking to my goddess, right? Which is this talking to the goddess. I'm talking to the divine and feminine energy at its purest form. And she's like, complete disorder and confusion is only based off of perception. She said, whenever stars or these call these like these gas bubbles, whatever these different things they see in the sky, or when the solar flare is coming or anything's happening, basically she's just saying that in the cosmos that's looked at as chaos, right? It was like they always look at that as chaos, like these certain type of things and disorder,
I'm
you
about to
know,
say, well,
you-
chaos is really just
um,
to say lack in order. You know, chaos is just a
exactly.
lack of order.
Exactly. Exactly. But you know how they'll actually promote chaos and make it seem like a riot. Well, technically a riot is chaos, but they'll make it seem like it's not. It's not a negative. It's not always just a negative thing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like certain words we have a negative.
Shit, your melanin
You
is
know
chaos energy. They said
exactly.
that they show
We're gonna
you
get to that.
that they show you melanin on a molecular level. It don't never stop moving in your body. But once you take it out of the body, it ceases all movement. You know, so like you said,
Exactly.
that chaos energy isn't. That's a part of nature. You know, that's if there was only order, you know, things would be a little bit boring. You know, there's
And
just like
look,
disorder, there's chaos.
so when you look at it says physics, the physics of it, it says the formless matter supposed to be existed before the creation of the universe.
Hmm.
Which they talking about? What you talking about? Chaos energy, ether, dark matter
Hmm.
energy. In this realm, neuromelanin. you know so I say to that. And so when we speak about chaos energy, think about water. Earlier we talked about how water is peaceful, it's common, is it brings life, it gives life, it actually hydrates you with so many things that water does. It purifies you, just so many things. But then if we think about the hurricane that's going on right now, you know, and that there's water, the Gulf of Mexico, and they have no water in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the water's gone. I don't know if it's back now, but this
Right.
water is moving. And as this water is moving and shifting, it is destructive. That is the divine feminine energy, that chaos energy, just like that. That is why when we speak about these certain tribes of original time, like I said, all the way back to ancient Kush, there were queens that were ruling and that were taking over kingdoms and actually, protecting their kingdom. And these tribes and these, like I said, these were groups of warrior goddess since ancient Kush. And if many don't know, ancient Kush is before ancient Kemet. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we talking before Kemet. The goddess has been, you know what I'm saying?
Compromise.
Yeah, because she has been a warrior. She's not just this energy of just, oh, love, sweet. Let me give you a hug, baby. You can manipulate me. You
I
can
mean,
play all the games you want to
that's not
play.
realistic in life. So that's not.
No,
I don't think anybody's met a goddess that's just who's not gonna get in her. Who might not get a little chaotic if things if she needs to take it there. So
that's that ma'at. That's that truth, that justice, that harmony, that balance, that order.
and that's why you
So
really have to trust in as above so below, because you have to know that even the goddess's disposition and like demeanor here, is representative of the higher aspects of the divine feminine. So, it all comes full circle. Even things in our community that a lot of, guys are like, oh man, I hate when she does this, or I hate when women do this. They're actually designed and programmed to do those very things. And the more if we studied each other, the masculine and the feminine, and you see like some of these things that we find cliche, or that it's like, oh, why, since the beginning of time, why does the goddess do this? It's like, these are things that are programmed in us, that are, in our, not only our cellular memory, but in our DNA, and it's only through getting in tune with that you will have a better time in life. You're not going to be annoyed by things that your goddess is programmed and designed to do, because you have the awareness to appreciate it and utilize it, for what it is. So,
you know what it is, bro. Toxic masculinity is intimidated by the true divine feminine.
Oh, for sure.
So when the divine feminine really is moving in that in her heart space, but she also is moving in a very wise place. She's very grounded. You know, she's very therefore she's very calculated. You can't
Hmm.
put nothing over her.
No.
It ain't gonna work.
Nope.
And she's gonna stand. And if it's not right, she is gonna bring justice.
Yeah.
You know,
One way or
and I
another.
and I think a lot of men get that misconstrued of what a woman really is and what a woman's supposed to be. You know, my goddess is very loving. She's very amazing. She gives high level of nurturing energy, and she's definitely connected with her heart space. At the same
Hmm.
time, she gonna check me, and I need to be checked. She gonna let me know, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have did that better. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You slacking. You know what I mean? Or, she's gonna let me know the real raw truth. You know what I'm saying? She holds me accountable, and she actually keeps me in balance and in order. And then because obviously I'm who I am, but at the same time, I may compromise somewhere. She gonna be like, nope. And men that are toxic, or even guys that are toxic, they don't like that. They don't like that type of accountability. They don't like when somebody's like, "Yeah, you did good, but
Man,
you,
if
you
you want
know,
to get real, I mean, some unfortunately with some of these dudes get with the goddess, they can't have the goddess come into a full awareness because then it ends the manipulation, right? So there's like,
talk about it."
there's an aspect that, you know, they need you to be under a certain. It's just the classic, if somebody is functioning from a low awareness, you can manipulate it, So a lot of the dudes, are afraid subconsciously that, like, if the goddess, evolves, that they know that they're gonna stop interacting or messing with them because
Right.
they know they're not, up to par, and they have no intention of getting up to par. So it becomes let me make sure that she stays at this level with me,
Hmm.
and that's when the intimidation comes, because
Exactly.
that kills the show, that stops the manipulation, and that requires, like you said, if a woman knows better, she's going to do better, but also she's going to hold you to that standard. So, I've seen in real life certain dudes get with certain females because they know that they're not going to be held accountable, because they know that their standard is lower, where they're going to get away with these things, and
Right.
that
Right. Right.
that yeah, if the goddess gets into a certain awareness, now they're losing their power,
Hmm.
because their power really was never power. It was based in, manipulation, or playing on things like fear and things of that
So how
nature.
about
So,
this? So goddess, how you know you have a true God is that He gives you awareness.
hmm
He's
I
continuously
say,
giving you information to make you more aware. He
yeah.
wants you to be aware. He actually it feels the lack of. He almost feels like he's not doing his part when y'all not. You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as he know that he's supposed to really be a few steps ahead because he's supposed to be out here seeking and giving this info and doing what he's doing for us information, he still wants y'all to be head to head.
hmm
That's one of his passions, for y'all to grow together. So that's how you know if you're dealing with a true God, because anything else is motive based.
hmm
You know what I'm saying?
Conditional.
Yeah, most relationships are based off motives. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? So let's talk about this, and we're getting ready to close real soon. Um, when it comes to the children, how for those that have children, or that are around children, um, how can we protect the children's divine feminine? How can we, male or female, boy or girl, the star seeds? How, how can we protect them with that? Um, and I feel like we have to let them be free first and foremost. Not really put these certain cages on who they are, who they're supposed to be, who we think they are, who we want them to be based off of us. Um, don't try to. Now we can we're obviously influence is a part of being a leader, so we're going to be influential. So but we're not trying to infiltrate. And so everybody has different archetypes, you know. So if a child is not a warrior, don't force them to be a warrior. Assess their gift of love. If a child is not the super loving, assess their warrior energy and abilities, and then you bring the balance with your lifestyle. Um, because that's on the way that they're going to learn anyway. They see you showing love. Oh man, mama, I'm not, and you teach and speak. And I feel like control what the children are watching. As we spoke about earlier, technology at this time has become the biggest robber of the divine feminine. So control what they're watching. Don't allow them to watch these shows that are actually toxic and that are showing toxic masculinity, and making it look cool, making it look like it's because children not stupid. Children dream very big, so they have big dreams. So when you watch TV, this TV makes their dream look like reality. So all they do is watch that, and then now their dream is becoming more what they saw on TV. And now in life, as a parent, you become even more. You become irrelevant to an extent, because now this child is so focused on reaching an agenda based goal. So let's really control what the children are watching. Let them be free, and you know just protect them. Protect them from certain family. But all that, I feel like we have to care about the people that are actually investing into our children. You know what I
And I was
mean?
and I was gonna say, we also got to just be that example of what it means to live from the heart space. Because like we're talking about, they don't have very many examples of that to just look and observe, especially on TV or on social media. So prime example. Yesterday, I took my daughter and her best friend to Sky Zone. It's like a trampoline park, and we came back here and played Uno. So we're playing Uno. It's just me, her, our little friend, and my daughter's 7 now, so she's getting older, and when she says certain things, I'm just like, what? So her and her friend, they're getting in a little battle with the competition of Uno, and they just start having a full blown roasting battle. I mean, my daughter starts with her hair, she starts with this, and I'm just looking like, this is crazy. And I had to stop, and I'm just like, girls, I'm like, listen, I'm like, why are we going back and forth and pointing out things that are wrong with each other? I'm like, why don't y'all go back and forth and give each other compliments and say what's nice about each other, what you love about each other? And their face was just like, It was just like such a foreign concept. So it's just like, and for me, I come from New Jersey. I'm from up north, so I had plenty rites of passages with shooting the ones, as you would call it, or roasting. So there was a slight tingle in my eye that was just like, oh man, like, okay, you just like your father. But there was also an opportunity for a teaching moment that was, we don't always have to undercut each other just for fun, or we don't always have to, be tearing each other down. And the lesson came home because my daughter's friend came back with one that my daughter wasn't ready for, and it sent her into teary mode. So I was like, see, and this is what happens when we do this with each other. Somebody gets hurt, So like you said, I feel like we got to take the opportunities to give them the example of like, okay, I know you're used to seeing everybody just roasting each other and looking at shoes like, what are those? But we also have to give each other love too. We got to uplift each other. So like you said, we have to reinforce that with the babies, man, and let them know that it's not such a dog eat dog world out here, and that we and they have the choice to change the algorithm and give some love, So
I say that's powerful.
yeah.
So this how we're gonna close. We're gonna before we play. We're gonna play the high vibrational record. You feel me? Before we do that, so basically, I want to speak on just how we can block our heart chakras. We just before we leave, you know what I'm saying, and really just know. I know at this moment our heart chakras are open, very powerful ever. So we have to continue to focus on that. But as we focus on that, we don't want to be counterproductive. So our heart chakras can be blocked by watching certain TV shows, by listening to certain type of music, and also by being around certain type of people. Um, Entertaining a certain type of energy can block our heart chakra. So when you're being intentional, when you're focused on ascending, when you're focused on getting the upgrades, when you're focused on living and moving through the love space. When you're focused on bringing your shadow from the dark into the light.
Hmm.
We have to be more intentional with our life. We can't live free, but don't live childish.
One of my favorite
So
quotes: "The unexamined life isn't worth living."
exactly. Everything's about balance. But just know, if it's not time, if you're not ready for that, don't force it. You might love that show, but does that show love you? And that's the example I've been giving people
Yeah.
forever when it comes to food. My family would be like, I've been vegan for 6 years or plant based, however you want to look at it, and I would tell my family, I'm not eating that. And they were like, man, I love this. I'm like, but do it love you? And that's how I even look at food. And I
That's
look
a
at
good question
everything
to
like
ask.
that. I don't, if it, that's how I look at everything, bro. I assess it and see, is it reflecting love back on me? Because sometimes we love things based off of trauma and based off of it's feeding something in us.
Even the example you just gave with food, we have this thing with the itis where people, you don't feel like you got enough unless you get the itis. People don't even know you're not supposed to get tired after you eat. The purpose of eating is to put fuel in your body that burns as fire to fuel you. You should feel
Rejuvenate you.
energized. You should feel energized after eating. And like you just said, that's just an example of how backwards we have it. And why awareness is key
I say.
on a very small microcosmic level.
So we're gonna tap in on this guy energy one time, family.
For the one time,
Love is the language and the
gratitude to my
frequency
family in
that
the
continues to grow and expand all consciousness. Peace.
Affirmations daily, you should join in. Love is the vibe and we own it. The universe been talking to the chosen. The universe been talking to the chosen. God energy. Everything inside of me, feel the frequency. God energy. Everything inside of me, you feel the frequency.
You amazing, you should say it, you so powerful. You got us, you got love, you got life in you. You got peace, you got joy, you got gratitude. You don't stress, you manifest, time to make a move. But life need change, I can make it wish. Stop believing in yourself, cause them haters did. It's all on you to create the vision. Let's go past the sky, I hate to see. I am a god, you are a god, it's just a peace party, we all vibe. Had to go inside to get out my body, hit this God energy all on my body.
God energy. Everything inside of me, feel the frequency. God energy. Everything inside of me, you feel the frequency. Affirmations daily, you should join in.
Let's go.
Love is the vibe and we own it. The universe been talking to the chosen. The universe been talking to the chosen. God energy. Everything inside of me, you feel the frequency. God energy. Everything inside of me, you feel the frequency.
You can feel the vibe, I word on me. Every day, Grand Rise, ain't nobody morning. You can change it all. This life is yours. When you're rich in spirit, you ain't never poor. Sitting on blessings, all I gotta do is manifest. The universe speak to my soul, I feel a presence. Know who you are and take control of where you headed. I say, peace of the God, send the goddess on the planet. I meditate on the daily. This type of peace is amazing. You are a carbon, baby. Let's raise the vibration.
God energy. Everything inside of me, you feel the frequency. God energy. Everything inside of me, you feel the frequency. Affirmations daily, you should join in. Love is the vibe and we own it. The universe been talking to the chosen. The universe been talking to the chosen. God energy. Everything inside of me, feel the frequency. God energy. Everything inside of me, feel the frequency.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sure.
One of my favorite records. And just so y'all know, that is my goddess on the record. We merge our energies together and become one.
Sure.
So very, very, very beautiful.
This whole
And
time, I knew that without knowing that. I don't think I ever asked you that was her, but I think I knew that without knowing that. I shade to the goddess, yeah.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, you know, that's the power of coming out your comfort zone, man. You know, and also I want to let you guys know that if you are looking to start a podcast, inbox me. I'll get you set up, you know, in many ways, you know, customize. All you got to do is show up. So do customized videos, promo, set the thumbnail, just get you right, you know, customize your own way, you know, however you want to set it up. So inbox me if you actually want to start a podcast.
Yes, sir.
And also, if you have businesses and whatnot, things that you want to promote, let us know, you know, a week ahead of time. Send us some promo, a flyer, something, and we'll actually upload it. You know, just for the fam to see. We are definitely here to support the tribe. So that's what it's all
Elevate the
about.
tribe.
I say.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so much gratitude to y'all family. So we're gonna rock out. We got a very special episode coming next week with y'all. We actually have a special guest, Seven Circles, kind of letting y'all know ahead of time. Y'all can go follow him, go tap in with the guy. He's on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube. But yeah,
The
much
good
gratitude,
guy.
family. Oh yeah, definitely Heart Space Energy. Hey, Mama Logical, I say, I love the family
It's
energy.
logical in the building.
I say, powerful show.
Much
I say,
gratitude, family, as always.
much gratitude.
Much gratitude for showing up and rocking out with us. We appreciate y'all more than
Yeah.
y'all know. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for y'all. So,
I
Ashe
say,
and much gratitude to the family,
And-
to the Soul Tribe.
and actually, we spoke about how we was going to talk about mudras more and a lot more. Actually, haven't really spoke about too much this episode, but this is a powerful book. I don't know if y'all can see that, The Healing Power of Mudras.
I've been
It's a
all on the
powerful
mudras,
book.
man.
You
I was
know,
doing the mudras, doing grounding earlier. I don't know if anybody caught me, but I was cycling through a bunch of different mudras that I got from that book, actually.
I say,
Mudras are
and
very
so,
powerful.
so I was doing more because obviously, you know, we was talking about the Ganesh Mudra, you know, so look up the Ganesh Mudra. Look that up. It's actually a heart chakra mudra, and that's what I want to look more into to see first. Been doing it for a while, for a good while, but it's a heart chakra mudra. So look up the Ganesh Mudra. Very, very, very powerful with connecting with your heart chakra as well.
And the Ganesh Mudra is actually a little side note. You know, Lord Ganesha, or you probably seen him, but people are probably familiar with what he looks like. He's the elephant-headed god from, you know, from I believe it's Hinduism. But he's
Right.
also known as the overcomer of obstacles. So it's a very good mudra to activate when you're overcoming obstacles. It can also be a very powerful wealth and abundance mudra. You know, it activates
And
wealth
it,
energy
and
in
it
your body.
relieves fear.
Mm-hmm.
Like provides freedom and relieves fear.
So yeah, transparency. I've been rocking the Ganesh Mudra out a lot lately. Actually, I've been tapped in
Sure.
heavily with that because yeah, and it's been working. Let's just say that it's been working.
How do you spell it?
GANESH. Tell them actually, like I'll actually send because I have a screenshot right now. I'm actually gonna.
I
Send
actually had it, bro. I had it
I
uploaded
literally
on
just
here.
sent this to my boy like an hour ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop it in the. This is a little motivation to get into the Shadow Work Center Telegram if you're not there. This is where we drop all the official and the you know, the details.
No,
So
I'm
go
talking
ahead
about this right here, bro. Look, I'm gonna just put it up here. But this, is where I just
okay, that's exactly what I was gonna drop.
you know, I took a picture before the episode. I just wanted to come up a better way, but it's like that's how
Okay.
you can see it. Because I spelled it, I put an added A to it, but that's how it looks as well.
All right, we're gonna try to drop this in the Telegram, so if people want to refer back to it, so they can, because I've been practicing that daily, you know, so it'll be nice to be able to refer back to it.
Nah, I say,
You know, so yeah.
yeah. Well, peace and love, family. Like I said, much gratitude.
Peace.
Big Healing Energy. We actually appreciate the support. Season 3, episode 1.
You know the vibes.
Affirmations daily, you should join in. Love is the vibe and we own it. The universe been talking to the chosen. The universe been talking to the chosen. God energy, God energy. Everything inside of me, feel the frequency. God energy, God energy. Everything inside of me, feel the frequency.
You amazing, you should say it, you so powerful.